Well, welcome back to the basics. And I normally a lot of my videos have been about percussion and really focusing on that aspect of it, because that's a lot of stuff that I'm working on personally right now. I graduated college. Gosh, it's almost been 20 years since I graduated college. That's crazy to think about. But since then, my ability to practice has really gone downhill. Life has happened. I have 4 children. Raising those 4 children, being a band director, then being a technology and robotics instructor, as well as a band director, and then being a technology and robotics and band and drama and all of these different things. And it just takes a lot. And so I've really focused on going back to my basics and where's my foundation, build my foundation. My band kids, who a lot of them, they're excited to subscribe to this stuff and learn from it. They've been asking me, when are you going to do my instrument? So today I'm going to start with some instruments for my beginning band kids, because they're just all getting their instruments. It's the beginning of the school year. This gives them a resource, gives parents a resource as well to see what I'm teaching them in class. So let's start with this. So we're going to start with the parts of the flute. So right here, this is the head joint of the flute. Okay, so the head joint has a couple things that I need to make sure everybody knows. Number one, this end cap here, we don't touch it. Just don't touch it. Don't mess with it. Don't do anything with it. It is something that just needs to be left alone for right now. This plate right here, there's a little metal plate right here. Let's see if we can make sure we see it. This metal plate is your lip plate. And then the hole right here is, we call it the tone hole. That is where we make our sound. So the tone hole and the lip plate is, our lip goes on the plate. It's not like we're not putting our whole lip on the plate. We're putting part of it on there. The tone hole, we're just going to barely have the hole touching our lip. And then, so the head joint, the flute is going to go out to our right. So this head joint here, though, it allows me, one of the easiest ways that I've found to place it in the right spot on my lips, is I take the hole and I put it on my lip like this. So my lip is covering it, and then I'll just roll out the flute until I can feel just the very edge of it. And the best thing to do is look at this in a mirror. If you can't look at it in a mirror, oftentimes it's going to be a lot harder to find that sweet spot. So I put it on here, roll it out, check it, and I'm going to cover this end. And we just, nice little, okay, so let's set it. That gives me my first sound, okay? I put my hand on here because it's going to lower the pitch. If I take it off, it's really high pitch and nobody wants to hear that. So on this one, cover the end, set it, and then it is. Now there's a couple things, if you look at this right here, the corners, I'm not smiling. You don't want to smile when you're playing it, so the corners. Okay, so that's our first sound here. So this is the head joint. This is the part that's actually making the sound. Now, the next part is the body. So this is the body. I'll back it up a little bit. This is where we change the sound. So the head joint, we make the sound. The body, we change it. So on here, we have all of the keys. These are for our thumb, for our left thumb, and our fingers, and our left pinky. Our right pinky gets to play on a different part of the instrument. So on this, the challenge on playing the flute is that this is where I'm going to be balancing the majority of the flute, and I'm balancing it with my pointer finger here, my index finger, and my thumb. That's it. Those are my balance points. So on this, there are a bunch of keys. We're not going to use all of them with our fingers. So where I'm actually going to place my fingers is, I don't put anything on this first key. That one's going to move with this key right here. So I'm going to put my finger on this key. I'm going to skip a key, and then I'm going to put my middle finger and my ring finger on the next 2 keys. Okay, so I've skipped this key right here. My thumb is going to be on this back key. Now, my other finger, there are 2 keys that I'm going to skip, and then 1, 2, 3. That's for my first finger, my middle finger, and my ring finger. My thumb, I'm going to put it right behind so it's like I'm trying to pinch it like this. Okay, so I'm going to put those there. This is how I'm going to hold the flute. Now, this is the body. I'm going to get more of this in a second. The foot, this is the bottom of it. This is the foot. The foot allows me to slightly, so some of the notes I'm going to play, it's going to change some of them. And actually what it's going to do is this is going to help me tune some of the notes. Some of the notes I could play without using the foot, and they'll come out still, but they're not going to be in tune, and that's going to cause a problem. So the foot is a really important part because it is the last point that kind of tunes all the notes. Now, let me put this together. So when we put the flute together, let me get my head joint. I start with the head joint and the body. So the head joint, I'm going to slide this together. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, here's my tone hole. My tone hole is going to be in line with these keys right here on the top of the flute. So I'm actually going to check this and make sure that the tone hole lines up with the keys. Okay, so once I have that in place, that's going to help me a lot when I'm trying to play in a natural position. The next part is the foot. I'm going to put that on the end. And I have a lot of students who always try to put their keys in line. Well, the problem is that when we're playing it, that we're playing with our pinky. My pinky doesn't want to be there. It wants to naturally come off to the side and be over here. So we're actually going to rotate the foot so that this little ball right here is in the middle of the key right here. So I'm going to just rotate that around, and this ball right here is in the middle of this key. That gives my finger a more natural place to play with the pinky, okay? Now, when I hold this, again, I have these 2 fingers right here that are going to, like my C, so I'm going to make a C with my hand, and this is going to be right here. 1, 2, 3, those bottom 3 keys, and a pinky. Up here, thumb again, right here, and then skip this key, 1, skip a key, 2, 3. So these are where I'm going to put all my fingers. Now, this pinky key, I'm going to hold down for most notes. A lot of the beginning notes that we learned, we push our pinky key down. But when we make a sound, we don't go like this. This is bad. We don't want to do this. We want to be up. Now, I don't want to be necessarily like over exaggerating, but I want it to just be natural. And I'm going to go, and what the kids are going to do, we're going to be learning a bunch of different notes. This is just to make the first sound. So I'm going to be using keys. It's really about making the sound. The sound that you're going to hear, if they don't push any keys down, will sound something like this. So it's kind of hollow sounding. It's not a great sound. So I'm going to push a couple keys down so that I get a little bit better sound. And so we're going to get, and that's the basics of setting our flute up. We'll talk about tone production and all of that stuff later, but right now I wanted to make sure that everybody understands how you set your flute up. There might be other people who are going to comment and say, hey, I don't set my flute up that way, try this. Great, I welcome anything. My main instrument is percussion, so I'm going by what I learned as a student in college and my own personal experience of trying to set things up and practice that. Other than that, I hope you enjoy playing the flute. Goodbye.